Okay, let's go.
Morning, it's Thursday, Parshas Chukas, and June 13th. What's today?
June.
No, what is today? Huh?
Let me tell you, today is the Taryag.
Taryag. Today's Taryag. June 13th, 6/13. How many times a year does this happen?
Once.
Once a year. Okay. Except there's also when it's the 13th day of
Tishrei, Cheshvan, Kislev, Adar.
No, Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz of Elul. 13th day of Elul is also the 6th month.
Nisan? Why go Tishrei?
Because we count from Nisan when we
Rosh Hashanah is Tishrei.
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah for God. For humans, it's Nisan. Anyway, but you're right. It should be Rosh Hashanah because Taryag is the Torah. Anyway, I thought we would learn today. When I started giving this shiur, I actually started learning just halachas, Mishnah Berurah. Somehow we switched into other things. But I saw an interesting halacha. Maybe you know it. You probably know it. And I was surprised by it, and I decided to cover this subject. The subject is, this happens all the time when you come into shul and there's only 9 people, or what happens that if you're davening and you're doing chazars hashatz, you know what a chazar hashatz, so you have to wait for all people to finish. And what happens if the rabbi takes a little longer, and so on and so forth. And there is and this is what I saw, something very interesting. I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, and I'm just going to wait another 30 seconds because I see Alan Ehrlich pulled up. So we're obviously not going to be able to cover all these things today, but it's, we'll make a start. So first of all, we have to understand the whole business of repeating the Shemoneh Esrei. Why is that? Why do we repeat the Shemoneh Esrei?
For those people that they cannot read or whatever.
Yeah, for those people that don't know how to daven. For those people that don't know how to daven. So the Rabbanim were masaken that we should repeat the Shemoneh Esrei. Good morning, Alan. Okay, we're just getting underway over here. We're talking about the Chazan repeating the loud Shemoneh Esrei, and that is done for people who can't daven on their own. So it would be better if you sat over there. No, you can daven on your own. There's no question about it. But you have to listen to the Chazan, So there's also a question, when do you start? Let's say you didn't do Shemoneh Esrei yet, and now the Chazan is starting the loud Shemoneh Esrei. When do you start? Should you start simultaneously with him, or should you wait till after Kedusha? Talks about it. Okay, so it's not such a simple answer. So we're just going to read it straight from the Mechaber, from Shulchan Aruch, and then we'll do the Mishnah Berurah. It says after the congregation finishes davening, the Shliach Tzibur repeats it in case somebody's there who doesn't know how to daven. Now, when he's listening to the Shliach Tzibur davening, he can't interrupt. Just like if he himself was davening, he can interrupt himself. If you're davening Shemoneh Esrei, you don't answer. While you're davening, somebody is saying Kaddish, or somebody is doing Baruch Hu or Kedusha. You don't answer Baruch Hu or Shema. You don't answer Amen because you're in the middle of davening Shemoneh Esrei. The term davening, really, when you look in halacha, tefillah, shas tefillah always means Shemoneh Esrei. That's what it means. It doesn't. We refer to davening as the entire program, but it really means just Shemoneh Esrei. Now, the difference is that that when you're listening, if you didn't davening, you want to be yotzei with the Shliach Tzibur, you can't interrupt either, with one exception. You could answer Amen after every one of his brachas. You can't say Baruch Hu Shemo, but you could answer Amen.
You're in the middle of Shemoneh Esrei?
No. You're not daven. You don't know how to daven, so you're listening to him. That's why he's repeating it to you. So you can say Amen.
Everybody else can say
Everybody else says everything. Now, What happens, somebody like this gentleman here, who he knows how to daven. He knows how to daven. Can he be Yotzei? He walked in late. He didn't daven Shemoneh Esrei yet. He wants to pay attention to the Shlich Tzibur. Can he be Yotzei with his davening? So the halacha is no. It's only an out. It's only a loophole for people who don't know. They get that benefit. Somebody who knows how to daven cannot be Yotzei with that. Now, here's another question. These are all very interesting questions. Let's say there's a person here who doesn't know how to daven. So I'm davening loud. He wants to be Yotzei with my davening. Okay? Do you need 10 people? Can I daven loud privately for one person and he should listen to me? Mm-hmm. So you're saying no. You happen to be 100% correct this time. You need 10 people. That gimmick that you can listen when, I don't want to call it a gimmick,
well,
but
that's why a lot of times when guys come in late.
Right. So you need now.
Why you need the 10 people for Shemoneh Esrei to begin with?
What?
Why you need 10 people?
You need 10 people. We spoke about that last time. We learn out from Korach that Ada, a congregation, is considered of 10. That's when the Shekhinah comes, when there's 10 people.
I understand, but I'm saying why?
Because
why not Shema? Why not
I don't know.
Shema is also important. You say
but
God is one. Everybody is
right. But the
actual davening is only
the Shemoneh Esrei is you need 10 people. Now,
sometimes if you have, let's say you have a house, you can only say 5 minutes or whatever. Just
let's say Shemoneh Esrei.
You have to say the brachas first, because you can't.
Right.
Now, I said before that you have to understand. You have to listen to the Chazan every word, and not only do you have to listen, you have to understand what he's saying. Now, when you daven yourself, we're going to be standing in shul. We're going to be davening Shemoneh Esrei. We say the Shemoneh Esrei. We say it in Lashon Kodesh. Do you have to understand every word you're davening?
No.
So you don't. I mean, you should. One day you should take an art scroll and read the English and get a general idea of what a word means. But Dov and I spoke about this yesterday. But you don't have to. If you're saying it in Lashon Kodesh, then you do not have to understand, with one exception we'll talk about in a second. But if you're saying it in another language, assuming you went into you reading it in English, you can be Yotzei davening reading it in English, but then you have to understand. So if there's a word there that you don't understand, you're not Yotzei. But an Hebrew word, you're Yotzei, even you don't understand. The exception is the first 3 brachas. The first 3 brachas, you not only have to understand what it means, you have to concentrate on what you're saying, and if you don't concentrate, you're not Yotzei, you haven't fulfilled your requirement for davening. And as we said yesterday, that we say that in reality you should have to daven over again, but chances are you're not going to concentrate the next time also. So try to do a good job first time. You know, what?
You asked a question before, but you never answered.
What's that?
You asked about you have to wait until after Kedusha.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We say there's one of the Shemoneh Esrei means 18, but there's really a 19th one. They added one, and in that bracha it says, "V'chol avecha," and all your enemies, meheru yikoresu, sa'aker, shaber, smager, v'sachnia, meheru v'yameinu.
Doesn't make sense.
So what does it mean? Like 99% of the people, they know what sa'aker means to uproot. Shaber means to break. V'sachnia, you should bend them. They should become lower. But what does a smager mean? Does anybody know what a smager means?
Smager to megayer?
No.
Smager?
So they once asked the Rebbe, what does a smager means? So he says, I don't know either. But if it's in the same paragraph as sa'aker, shaber, if it's in that, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
What I don't understand about
What?
it, I don't understand.
Yeah.
This bracha, always you have to try to help them.
No, this is talking about Rishonim.
But the
You know,
Jewish Rishonim.
no. It's talking about. I think it's talking about Goyim.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe.
This is Mesaken in Eretz Israel. Rafaenu is Jewish, Barachenu is Jewish.
Yeah, but this paragraph was made
Yeah?
against the Christians. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Okay. Now, let's move on.
Even for going, you should not. We try
Those
to
Christians
help them.
were involved with us in trying to be Megayos. So that's when they get this question. We made them daven and say that bracha to find out if they were Jewish or not at the time.
Okay. Now, the next sermon talks about what happens if somebody walks a shlich tzibur, chazan, a cantor, walks into a shul, and he sees. Let's say Cantor Wall, okay, he's the official chazan over here, and he walks into shul, and everybody's already davening, good morning Rabbi, everybody's already davening quietly for themselves Shemoneh Esrei. Nobody, like sometimes we announce here, anybody wants to daven? Nobody went up to daven.
With a minyan, no minyan.
There's a minyan, but nobody's leading the services.
Uh-huh.
It's not the end of the world. You daven with a minyan. You don't necessarily have to have
What about
somebody
the
leading the
Kedusha?
services. We didn't get to Kedusha yet. We're now in the middle of the silent Shemoneh Esrei, okay? And he walks in. Does he have to first daven privately the Shemoneh Esrei for himself, and then he can get up there and repeat the Shemoneh Esrei? Or can he right away go into the loud Shemoneh Esrei?
Can he be Yotze with the second one? I think it could.
You can think, okay, so it talks about it here, and Benny, let's write down the date, 6/13 Tayag. Maybe the first time you were right. Yeah, okay. Let's try to remember that. No, I'm just joking. Benny could be sitting here and
One
saying
second.
all this. Yeah.
The reason I said that because when we Heicha Kedusha.
Right. So we'll talk about that.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, based on that.
Based on that, yes.
Based on that could be true too.
Okay. So the halacha is, according to that, he does not have to first daven quietly. Now, what happens after he does the loud Shemoneh Esrei?
Should he go back?
Should he go back and,
It's Yotze.
huh?
It's Yotze.
Or does he? So the answer is that if his job is to be Yotzei the people who don't know how to daven,
For
and
himself,
so for himself, for sure he could be Yotzei. Now, what happens in the case where either there are two possibilities, and there's a distinguishment between the two scenarios. One is that people are in a rush, so we have to daven quickly because let's say
Time or whatever.
whatever it is, they're coming in and they're fumigating this place in a half hour.
Yeah, because
So we have to finish davening quickly, or it's getting very late, and if we don't daven very quickly, we're going to be passing the zman of Krishma. So in these two scenarios, one is an urgency because of the zman. You're not going to be Yotze Krishma. One urgency is that you just have to get out of here. Either everybody or you personally have to get out of here. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
So the answer is that then we do a loud Kedusha, like Alan said before, and we all know what that means, a loud Kedusha. Actually, it's a misinterpretation. It's not a loud Kedusha, it's a loud Shemoneh Esrei. You make the Shemoneh Esrei loud. Kedusha is always loud. Now, here's something that I didn't know, that when you do that, and we're making, now, when do you start? When you do a loud Kedusha, or a loud Shemoneh Esrei, do you start at the same time as the Chazan, or do you wait until after Kedusha, and then you start your own Shemoneh Esrei?
I think if you could be as fast as the Chazan,
Yeah,
and you get to the point that Kedusha,
right.
you could do it.
Yes, so that's the answer, that really you should start. Now, if you do it in such a case, and everybody's going to start at the same time as the chazan,
And the expert to be with him.
right, then you need one person in shul not to daven, so he can answer Amen.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And here's the chiddush. How do you say the word chiddush in English? Here is the surprise rule that person doesn't have to be an adult. It could be a minor. As long as there's somebody there that's answering Amen, it qualifies.
Let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Why we don't continue loud Shemoneh Esrei all the way? Because for those people they don't know to read. Because you're confusing the rest of the people.
Yes. And that's a general rule that when you're davening, they say you should daven loud enough that you should hear yourself, but not that somebody else should hear. And it's always a.
In this case, you disregarding those people that they don't know to daven. It's problematic.
I guess it is.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Sometimes you walk into shul and somebody's davening, and he means well. He means, he's davening, loud, and you're disturbing everybody around you. I have such a guy in shul, so he's not coming. He sits 2 seats away from me, and he's really davening. I mean, it's beautiful the way he's davening, but he's disturbing me, especially when I'm trying to make a phone call in the middle of davening. I can't.
On Shabbos, right?
Shabbos, Yontiv, Okay, now.
But the good thing about it is that we have all this, as you said, we have the translation.
Right.
So even those people, at least they know one language.
Right.
So they could say it in their language, or whatever they know.
Okay, now, what if there's a minyan with, good morning, what happens if there's a minyan with everybody in shul is an expert?
Yeshiva, let's say go to Chaim
Yeshiva, or everybody is a cantor, everybody's a chazan. Do you need to repeat the Shemoneh Esrei? Yes. So obviously yes. Why?
Because everybody does it.
What?
All the yeshiva they're doing it.
Why? If it's done only so in case somebody doesn't know how to daven, why do you have to repeat
Because
it?
you don't want to change the custom.
Because you don't want to change the custom. That's exactly it. Otherwise, what would you have to do? If the rule was that if everybody knows how to daven, you don't have to repeat it, then you would actually have to go around the shul. Do you know how to daven? Do you know how to daven? And it could lead to embarrassment. So we don't change the custom. Now, I want to get to the main part why I came to this. Do you have to wait? You need 10 people. Do you have to wait for Dov? Dov likes to daven long, which is very good. And sometimes we only have exactly 10 people, and we need to wait for him to finish. So, or for that matter, a rabbi. Do we have to wait for a rabbi? Hey, Steve, how you doing? So the answer is like this. Obviously, if we have 11 people we have 10 people without Dov, we certainly don't have to wait for him to finish. And as far as the rabbi goes, the halacha is actually you don't have to wait for him, because we have this concept of tircha de tzibura, that he's how do you say it in English? Tircha de tzibura. It's a load for the tzibura. Yeah. So a rabbi should not be. In fact, they bring down from Rabbi Akiva that he was very careful that when he davened with his talmidim, he should daven very quickly, so they shouldn't have to wait for him. So here's a trick. This is the main point that I want to come to, which I never realized that. What happens if a rabbi knows that people are going to wait for him, but he doesn't want people, doesn't want to cause suffering for people, or in the case of Dov, that he knows he's the 10th one, but he likes to daven his long Shemoneh Esrei. He's entitled to it, but he doesn't want to hold us up. So here's the halacha. If you're standing, you're middle Shemoneh Esrei, and you know now people are waiting for you, you trick everybody there. You go back. Go back as if you finish Shemoneh Esrei. It's halacha. Let them think you daven, you finished, and they can start, and then just go back and continue where you were holding.
People or not?
Okay? Well, for those on camera didn't see, the trick is that you take 3 steps back for them to think that you finished already.
But I answered the
Okay,
question.
have a good day.
I didn't get the question, man.